What's going on, everybody? It's David from the 80s, and you are in GBA Reviews, also known as The Good, The Bad, and The Atrocious. And today I'm going to talk about a Korean film by the name of The Gangster, The Cop, and The Devil. I thought it was called The Monster. The Gangster, The Cop, and The Devil. All right, so this is a Korean film, came out last year in 2019, right? And the basic synopsis of this film is there's this man going around and he's killing people, hence the devil, right? So this guy is going around just murdering people spontaneously. What he ends up doing is they show him throughout the film attacking people, right? And they're building three separate stories up. There's this cop, young cop, up and coming. He's well-known within the ranks, and he's he's out there trying to make a name for himself, right? He's by the book. Then you have the gangster, which is the big dude. I don't know if you ever seen Train to Busan, the big dude, the one, the father with the little girl. I mean, with the pregnant wife, the father with the pregnant wife. He's in this movie, and he's the gangster, right? So he's like I'm assuming like a Yakuza gangster. He's like the head honcho, the man on top. And they're talking about his story about running his crime organization. And then you have the devil, which is this random serial killer that goes around basically killing people. I don't want to tell you how he does it, but just know that he's a serial killer, because I don't want to give you guys any spoilers. I'm going to try my best. So we also have this. So this movie is basically about how these three interact with each other, how they come into contact with each other, and how the story develops three separate stories about three separate people and then brings them all into one. And what ends up happening is that the devil, which is the guy, the murderer, he ends up attacking the crime boss. So and he almost kills this guy. So the crime boss vows revenge against him and ends up making unlikely alliances with a cop in order to track this man down. So this movie is all about trying to locate this killer. So the mob boss catches him, he's done, curtains, right? And if the police officer catches him, by the book, book him, Dano, right? Let's talk about the good in this movie. All right, so the good in this movie. This movie is an excellent film. The acting in this movie is amazing, right? And a lot of people are going to be like, you don't know if the acting is good because there's subtitles. Doesn't matter, man. You can feel emotion through the film. Even if you don't understand exactly what they're saying, you can see how people can portray emotion. You can see it, right? And also, eventually, when you learn how to read subtitles, you can kind of simultaneously watch the film and read at the same time. It doesn't really take all your attention to look at the stuff across the bottom of the screen. Because at the first time when I was learning how to watch subtitle films, I would read a lot and I felt like I missed stuff on the screen. But then eventually you finally kind of figure out how to maneuver in a way where it doesn't bother you. You can watch the film and read at the same time and not miss anything. So the good in this film, the script is amazing. Honestly, it is kind of an adrenaline. It's not really, I wouldn't say an adrenaline pack, but it's very suspenseful. Because you have these people really trying to track this killer down, and it's a race. It's a race to see who gets to him first. Because, if the mob boss gets to him, and if the cop gets to him, he's going to arrest him. He's going to do the right thing. So, like I said, and then there's like this interesting conflict of interest between the cop and the mob boss because, he's a criminal. I'm a cop. We're not supposed to be working together. But they end up finding this weird dynamic and end up teaming up together in order to track this killer down, because for some reason this guy seems like he just falls off the face of the map and nobody can find out who he is. Like I said, the script is amazing. It's not something that I feel like I've ever seen before, and that's the one thing that I love the most about Korean films. Korean films always have this storyline where it's like a lot of it is revenge based, but at the same time, it's like storylines that you've never seen before. Like sometimes when you watch American films, it feels like you're watching the same thing over and over again, or you've seen something similar to it, or it's like been there, done that. That's why sometimes I dabble in a lot of foreign films, because sometimes I basically get a taste of something new, something I've never even heard of. Especially in a lot of Korean films. Korean films are basically revenge based. there's a lot of revenge Korean films. Some of them good, some of them bad, right? But I like, me personally, I have like this really, I have a thing for revenge films. Revenge films are awesome. But what else is good? The story is fine. The pacing in the movie, to me, does its job. It does a very good job at pacing itself, right? And it pans out perfectly at the end. Now, the guy, I didn't look at the cast names and everything like that, and I probably wouldn't even be able to pronounce his name anyway. But like I said, the crime boss, the man who plays the big guy with the pregnant wife in Train to Busan, he does an amazing job in this film. He's amazing. I like his role in this film. He's funny. He's like intimidating, and he don't back down. He ain't no man. You know what I mean? So I like that aspect of the film, right? I like the dynamic of the film. I like how you have these three different characters, and it's like you're honestly you have three different actors putting on a really great performance of the characters that they're trying to embody. And I love that, right? Now let's talk about the bad. Me personally, I love this movie. I didn't really find much bad in it. The pacing to me is good. It's pretty good. It does its job. And especially in order to unfold a story as complex as this one, that's taking three different people and putting them together. So it does a good job with the pacing for me. But looking at it from another perspective, as maybe like an average movie watcher, you might get I can see how someone could get a little bored because it's a lot of world building. It's a lot of character building. So it kind of can feel like it drags a while if you're not into film like that. Like if you're not really into watching film and you want things to be instantly gratifying because we live in a world of instant gratification, you might not enjoy this film as much as I did. Now, another bad thing that doesn't apply to me, but it might apply to an average viewer, is subtitles. I get it. A lot of people don't like subtitles. A lot of people don't like the voices of Korean actors. I know this. I hear it all the time, right? I get it. But at the same time, what can you do? If you want to be introduced to a whole new world of movies and you want to be introduced to very good film, then you're just going to have to climb outside of the box. You get what I'm saying? So, and eventually when you climb outside of the box and you start to view these movies, you're going to appreciate it. I personally didn't appreciate Korean films until I saw Old Boy and I Saw the Devil. Those two films sold it for me, right? Recently, I've been on a Spanish kick, like as in movies from Spain, and I've seen some very great movies. Two of them were on Netflix. The third one I had to track down, and I'm very upset that there's no way for me to actually purchase these films right now. And I'm going to figure out a way to get them in my possession one way or another. So if you're not, like I said, I'm sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent, but if you're not into subtitled movies, I can see how this may bother you. To me, it doesn't bother me. For an average viewer or somebody who's not used to watching subtitled movies, it might bother you. It might turn you off to the film. Now, is there anything atrocious in this film? No. In my opinion, it's not. The film does a very great job at pacing itself. It takes three separate stories and jams them together and brings them into the same world, and it does this in an amazing manner. And honestly, if I have to, I would recommend this movie to all of you guys. Whether you like subtitle movies or not, it's a very good watch. It's a great film. If you get a moment, I would recommend trying to track it down. I think Amazon has it. You can watch it on Amazon. Probably YouTube might even have it. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the sources of streaming. When I saw it on a particular app that I have that's not necessarily legal. So, but I would definitely recommend this movie. And if I have to give it a grade, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. It's an amazing movie. It does a great job at world building and character development. The mob boss actor does an amazing job. He really puts it over and honestly has you rooting for him throughout the movie, even though you know that he's the mob boss and he's doing bad things. You still want that man to win, right? You kind of start rooting against the cop because you're just like, come on, man, let the mob boss get a little justice. Well, all right now. So That's my review of The Gangster, The Cop, and the Devil, 2019 film. Very fresh, very new. If you guys get a chance, go ahead and check it out. This is GBA Reviews, also known as The Good, The Bad, The Atrocious. And I am your host, David from the 80s, and I am out. Adios.